Oh, oh, I'm sorry for you guys who came in. Yeah, I did not really start, but I started already. I did not start, but I started already, because I want you to think about, ancestrality and how people wanted to be remembered. But we started this talking because I was telling people about my t-shirt, we say Les Foucault, I don't know if you're familiar with Foucault, is the European thinker, and more Foucault probably well, I'm glad because we was talking exactly about that because when I was doing my PhD, at the University in Bahia, and I talk about Foucault and nobody knew about. But everybody know about Foucault, I got upset. I made a t-shirt exact because of this. They say, we need to know more about Foucault and less about Foucault. And people got upset, but anyway, part of knowledge. But after I was start to think, to say for people about ancestrality, and one the question I made here, I sent the question for you too is, how you want to be remembered when you cross the Kalunga Line, when you go to the ancestral world? Or better, what are you doing today to be remembered? And they say I arranged to Martin Luther King monument today. He's never gonna die. His word, his legacy is still there. And many other ones like Mestre, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and many others. We are always gonna be talking about them. And that's when you leave your mark on the community, and the world. But the problem is what are we doing today to be remembered? Most of the people are not doing nothing. No. What are you doing for your community? How are you giving back for your community what you got from it? That's a question always I ask when I do the lectures. We can complain about the community. We can say a lot of bad things about the community. But what are you doing to make things better? Besides that, if you did good, somebody help you. And now while you help someone, what are you doing? How you doing? You are just sitting watching TV or look at WhatsApp. If you're doing that, it's very easy to complain. Anyway, what I'm going to be talking is a little bit about Foucault, about the Kenga, the Congo cosmology. But for me to talk about them, I need to talk a little bit about the Bantus. I don't know if you're familiar with the Bantus, but I'm going to be talking more about in Brazil because it came some Bantus to here, okay? I have been talking, I live in Washington DC, for 12 years, and I used to talk there with the scholar like Daniel Dossa, Ken Dossa, Foucault, Robert Ferrer Thompson, and all them was try to show the evidence of the presence of the Bantu here in the United States. Because most of the time people did not talk too much about, and the Bantu was very, very present here, in New Orleans, there's so much presence of the Bantus there, some of the songs and even some of the the religion, the way they do, how expression have proved that belongs to the Bantu's way of to do the religion. Okay? But who is them? The Bantu is the group who live on what we call today Central Africa. Okay? But I have the things to write down. Remember, I asked you.
Yeah, the chalk?
Yeah, the shuffle, but I need something to write.
Wait, can
I need something.
I know.
Yeah. Because when you say this word,
Bone chalk and rock is right on there. You can just use the normal one.
that was a word basically invented by the Europeans. Okay? If you use a lot today, but that is a combination of the two words. Okay? Because that's what I need to write. Oh man, it's so nice. Okay. Well, but anyway, what's the paper you brought to me?
I don't think we brought the paper. I think we brought the chalk.
Yes. I say for this guy, okay, please bring me the paper because
Like that.
yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm being too nice to it?
Yeah.
No, yeah. My bad.
I'll let you know. Okay. What? This guy, Blick, in 1867, what he did was he looked at the many different groups of Africa in Central Africa. He was a student, he was a linguistic guy. And he notes there's one word what everybody was using. And he started to think like a European thinker, because most of the European language came from one root, Latin, And when you talk about Portuguese, Italy, French, Roman, Spanish, how they came from one root, Latin. And he starts to think the same way. It's like, oh, if these people speak some word what look like each other, probably they come from one root. Okay? And most of them have this word, Nintu. What is Nintu? Nintu is human being. If you ask me, who are you? I may say, I'm Nintu. I should say, I'm a human being. But Nintu, the meaning of the word is more than that. It's one who thinks for yourself, one who owns your head, one who thinks. It's like I'm different from the animal. I'm Nintu. Animal is not Nintu. On this group, who live on the central, where they wanted to put one word on the plural, they use this word on front. Ba. Okay? Anytime you put BA on front of the word, they become plural. The suffix. When you put this on front of this, that is not more one person, but it's people. Então, Bantu just means people. But this guy, on the first, he said, it's the language of the people speak. He categorized as a Bantu. But after, the language become the people, the culture, the everything. And then now we call everybody Bantu. Not just the language what they speak, but the culture and the everything. It's a totally wrong. But that's how we learn in school, that's how we learn in university. They taught you as wrong. Anyway, in Brazil, two majority group came, was Bantu and the Yoruba, you know. And I'm not gonna be talking about the Yoruba, otherwise I'm gonna be here the whole night. But just for you to understand, Yoruba is another inventing word. This group Yoruba never exists until the 1800s. Because what's happening is they have different kingdoms. Oyo, Ogun, Matamba, that's what different. But during the colonization, they got together and they start to see they have something in common and it become one group. And they call themselves today Yoruba. But before, if you're gonna study, you're not gonna find this word Yoruba. The same way, before 1867, you're not gonna find the word Bantu, because they did not exist. What exists is more than 2,000 languages. Some common, but some very different. And the same thing, if you speak Portuguese, probably you're gonna identify some Spanish word, you're gonna say, oh, I know this. Or if you speak French and the Portuguese, you're gonna say, wow, it's looking like the word in Portuguese. And the same thing with these languages. You're gonna identify some is similar, but it's not the same. You know, I cannot understand it. Somebody who speaks French. You get some word. You see, it's a Portuguese, but it's about 2,000 languages. Okay? Bantu is the plural, I told you that, you know, of Mutu, you know. Yeah. Africa say Mutu, Munu, Mutu, to refer to human race. Mutu means in the head of the one is the order with intelligence, which rational, who creates, which is the head, therefore, which has principle and value. That was mean to. That's right. We are here. We are Nintu. Oh, as a group, we are Bantu. Where they came from? Well, there's two migration, you know, some people say they came from Cameroon, you know, and migrate to the south, and someone is gonna say they came from the part, what is it, the Egypts, and they came together, you know, but most of the group stay right on today is Central Africa. We are talking before the colonization, okay? You know, the colonization, the 1800, was the European came and they divide, each one got your part, you know, and decide, and good family and groups and everything. You know, that's what you have in this message today in Africa. It's exactly because of that. Because each part got your part, and from now on, this group cannot talk unto this group anymore. That's right. And that's the Bantu area, you know. And today, you're gonna see these areas, Mozambique, Congo, Angola, you know, what you call the Bantu area. But if you look, each one of these is one group, is one community of people with their own languages and their own ways of work and culture. Okay? Yeah, that's when I told you about the immigration. When the Bantu came, there was another group there before, you know, was the Khoisan. The Khoisan is one what it's a bad, really bad, but we call them pygmies, you know, the short guys, you know. But they are the Khoisan. And the way they speak, they have the, you know, the way it's not really words. Yeah, that's what I was talking like, you know, in the beginning was just the language, and after become the whole group. And that was a big mess, but a great did. Because, but the more important is now, what the Bantus believed. Well, they believe the world is divided in two parts. For them, we have the world, and you have one line, what divides the world. This line is called Kalunga Line. Have anybody hold this word Kalunga? Kalunga. It's like this. Kalunga. Yes, é preto, Kalunga. Todo mundo é preto, Kalunga. Anybody more heard of this word Kalunga? What is?
Oh, I'll say.
You just heard, but you don't know the meaning. Anybody? Give a kick. Everything.
Oh, based off what you said about your shirt, is it like of the living and the non-living, or the?
Mm-hmm. It's the line, what they will divide the both worlds, you know. The line of the living, that's what we hear now, and the line of the ancestor. He's the world of the ancestor. That's what they believe. We hear on the world of the living, but down here, there's the ancestors. That's the world. But okay. Sometimes people are gonna say Kalunga is the ocean. You know, especially in Brazil, this word is well used as like a grande Kalunga or big Kalunga is the ocean. And the small Kalunga is the cemetery. Why? Because that's the world of the ancestor, where the ancestor live. They live on the Kalunga. And where is the Kalunga? Kalunga is on the cemetery. Okay? And what happened is this. This Kalunga Line, I know it. Here's the Kalunga Line. And they believe all the ancestors is gonna be living here. Okay? And we live right here. Why they think that's the ocean? Because they was believing if the human being keep walk, you know, and it's gonna go a time where they're gonna boom. You know. For them, the ocean have an end, you know, it's like gonna go one time you're gonna. That's what they thought when the European when the Europeans took the Africa, that's what they said, you know, like they never gonna come back because they're gonna go to the Kalunga Line and it's gonna go. Okay. I think one is good and one.
Press it a little bit.
Okay.
Press some more. Yeah, that'll make it come out.
Okay. But they don't believe one thing more. They believe everything our living thing is gonna pass for this 4 phase of the sun. Foucault called that the 4 moments of the sun. Okay? This cosmogram, some people is gonna call that the Jikenga or the Bakongo cosmogram. Cosmogram of Bakongo. What is this? That's life. You know? Why? Musoni. What is Musoni? Musoni is the beginning. Is where every single thing starts. It's the conception. You know? Is when you think, but you did not complete yet. Something what is inside, but not coming out. If you look a woman and she is pregnant, and if you say, can I see? No. But it's there? Yes. I cannot see. But it's already there. It's the same thing. When you plan something, but it's not coming out, it's still on this process. Okay? And that's Musoni. I call that the beginning of the beginning. Most of us is gonna count your birthday on the day you appear, not the day you're born. I know that's gonna make some people sad, but you are 6, 7, 8, or 9 months older than you what you say. That's the truth. There's a day what you appear, and that's the day what you're born. The two different times. But we always say on the day we appear. And that's why in many African community, you're gonna see when the baby is born, what they do, they take the baby and show to the community now. Because before, people knew somebody was there, but nobody could see. And now they show to the community, a new person arrived in the community. Okay, is it? Now you can see, but before, nobody can see. And that's the second phase. That's Scala. Scala is when things appear, when you can see. Because before, you could not see. I used to say this. Anybody here is farmer? Or anybody have this farm? Garden? Have a garden? Okay. You put a seed here, you know? You put the seed there. There's a struggle with the seed to break, to start, or to live. And they put the first, you know. And after, when they break, they're gonna come the first leaf. When the first leaf come, what you say? Oh, it's born. It's born. I use that for my own life, and you can think like that. Our big struggle, nobody see. People like to you say, oh, you changed. No. I changed a long time ago, man. Yes. Now you can see. Now you can see my change. But my change starts where? Inside me. My fight to change. And that's the same thing to born. You know? That's me. Our big struggle, nobody see. Nobody. Us. And people like you, like, oh, you look different. Oh, man, I'm different a long time ago. You know, I'm working on that, you know. But now finally you can see. But before nobody could see. But now finally you can see. You have to never say, like, you know, our struggle, nobody say. Nobody. Okay, that's from this. What Foucault is gonna say is, when you start to learn about your community, because that's how you grow. You know, you're born here and you start to grow. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. You know, on this phase here, color is when you learn one of the best things in your life, and probably most of you forgot. I'm gonna make a very simple question. When you was a baby, okay, you was small, you know. And one day you look up and see people walking. And what you thought, whoa, I think I can walk. And what you did? Stood up. And what happened? You start walking, running, yeah! That's what happened, you know? What's this? Yeah?
The very
Who did?
condensed version.
Now, when you was crying and you tried to stand up for the first time, what happened? Okay. And you fell one time, you stand up and start to walk, and it's gone. No? 2 times, only 2 times. 3 times, three, 4. No, I'm sorry, let me ask you the wrong question. The real question is, why you not give up? Why you just not look and say, oh guys, sorry, I tried 3 times already, you know, it did not work. I stand up and I fail, I stand up again and I fail, like, I think this thing is not for me. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stay here, and it's fine, it's good, it's okay. Why not do that? Why you don't do that? Because you want to walk so much. Then it don't matter how many times did you fail. You even forgot how many times you failed. You just know is one day I start to walk. My question is very simple. Why today you give it up so easy? What happened? you fail one, two, probably the third time, you say, I'm not gonna do it. What's happening? If you want the first lesson you learn, and you know, was nobody who teach you. You learned that by yourself, by doing. Maybe people say, okay, stand up, you get up. But it was you. You decide you're not gonna stay down. You decide you're gonna walk. So why do you give it up so easy now? That's something for you to think about. Because when the lesson you learn, you don't give up. Man. If you want, whoa, go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know. I'm gonna get it. And that's what this teaches us. No? Kala is when you learn things for yourself and for your community. You know? But there's something here, what is very important, you make a reflection about the society today. Since the kids learn everything from the community, okay? And when you grow up, if you do some mistakes, if you do some things wrong, who's the fault? Is your fault or the community fault? No? They fault. But they learn everything from the community. Because a kid born, they learn something in the community and they start to apply it. Okay. I'm gonna do the inverse, okay? One kid is born in the community, become a brilliant, somebody who really great. Martin Luther King, Michael X. Okay. Who is? Is only him? Was the whole community made him like that? You know? And it's funny because when you become great, some people say, oh, he was born here. And the other say, yeah, but he grew up here. And the other say, but he studied here. Everybody want peace. But when it's the opposite, people say, no, I never see him. No. He never, he passed by, you know. He passed by. But he, no, leave it, no. He don't let nothing of this community. You know, like that's how it is. Most of the time, the community don't take responsibility. Let me talk about today. But in some groups in Africa, when I was doing my research in Angola, I don't know if you have seen the movie Body Game, what I did in Angola. Everybody have seen? I put in YouTube, guys. Man, everybody was complaining, oh, in Vimeo, we need to pay, blah, 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 da, da, da. And you say, okay, let's put in YouTube, and everybody can watch it for free, no problem. I don't know what I'm gonna do because more than YouTube, I cannot do nothing. But if you put body game, capoeira, you're gonna see the research I did in Angola, what I'm looking for, the roots of capoeira, you know. I go there, I go to the community, you know, and that was a part of my PhD too, you know, the research. But anyway, when we was there in the community, and there's a lot of things what they learn there. One is that some community is still like if someone do something wrong, they take the guy and all the community talking to them. and you try to see where the community fell. Because the community felt the responsibility, like, we fell on you. Okay? We did not touch you right. What we did wrong? Tell us. Why you become this person? Your father was not this, your mother is not that, your grandma was not that, everybody in your family is not that. Why you become this? You know? And yeah, there's another thing, it was no good, I did not like, but I think it's a big lesson. If somebody stole something and they discover, man, they made the guy go door to door to say, I'm a chief. And they go to the uncle, everybody. It says it's really, really bad. They stole from the community. Everybody go behind them, say, open the door, I'm a chief, da, 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 da. I promise you I'm never gonna do that anymore. I fell on you, blah, blah, blah. Now, next up, I'm a chief, da, 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 da. Can you imagine it? All your parents, all your family, it's like, you know, but that's the way they do, you know. Especially on this community we was, they still do that. They stole something from the community, community don't trust you anymore. They're gonna trust you until the time, if you know, but in the beginning, you're gonna be like, no, the council, you're gonna sit with you, and they're gonna ask exactly this, why you did that? Why you stole from your own community? What's wrong with you? What? You ask teach you that. And put the responsibility on them, that's on the person. Okay. And finally, you get he. Okay? He is Tukula. Think with me. What I'm designing here is the 4 moments of the sun. Okay? If I go to the English watch, okay, he's gonna be midnight. He's gonna be 6 a.m. when the sun rises. He's gonna be midday. All right? And he's gonna be 6 p.m. That's the 4 moments of the sun. But that's our 4 moments of our life too. Midnight is when the sun is more higher. You know? It's a big moment. You know, when there's not gonna be more moment bigger than that. That's gonna be a big moment in life. You know. That's Tukula. But Tukula for me is today. Today is the big moment of our life. Why? Because you can change. You can still change. Because after, there's no more high than higher. Higher. After the sun gets to the more high point, what's going to start happening? It's going to start to go down. But go down for the Bantus is construction of your ancestrality. That's go down. Go down is when you learn most of the thing, and now you're going to start to do what? Pass your knowledge for the new generation. Look here. You are here. There is people who start just to grow up here. And what you're going to do? Transfer. your knowledge. That's what you were talking about in the beginning. Remember, say information is power. Because you need to pass all the information for your kids. For them to be stronger and better than you in the future. That's how it is. But that's the construction of your ancestrality. Why? Because the Bakongo, they believe if my name is still on the community, I'm never gonna die. And how my name is still in the community? By how many hearts I touch. All the people who I touch their heart, they're gonna remember me. And even when I cross the Kalunga Line and go on the ancestral world, they should remember. Like I said, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Mestre Baixinho, Mestre Bimba. Why? They touch so many people. His name is still around and it's gonna be for many. And that's what I did in the question. How do you want to be remembered? Or better, what are you doing for to be remembered? There's a movie, I don't know if you ever watched it. It's a Mexican movie. It's a cartoon. It's called A Vida é uma Festa. Life is
Party life. Party life.
yes, party life. But I think the in English is gonna be a little different. It's a Mexican movie about one little boy who wanted to learn how to play guitar. What's the name? I forgot the name. Yeah. Coco. Yes. But if you watch the movie, you're gonna remember there's a part of the movie what is, everybody coming to pick it up, people for to. But there's one, nobody remember him anymore. And nobody come, and he was so weak, And one day everybody go, and when people come back, he's not more there. What that's mean? He's not ancestor. He becomes dead. That's the difference between a dead person and ancestors. Ancestor always is going to be remembered. A dead person is somebody who nobody remembers. He's dead. He's gone. And that is the question. Do you want to be a dead person or you want to be ancestors? And if you want to be ancestors, it's better to work soon. It's true. It's better to start to work. Because that's how people is going to remember you. And that's what's happening here. When you cross the Kalunga Line for the second time, because the first time you cross the Kalunga Line is when you're born. Remember? When you appear to the community. And the second time is when you disappear from the community. Physically. Why? Because the Bantu, they believe on the life, on the world of the living, like here. Everybody's here. It's not us only, our ancestral, the spirit in Brazil called the Encantados. Everybody, when you say the name, they come back. That's the world of the living. But the world of the ancestors, only the ancestors. Okay? One other thing is very important about the cosmogram is he. Everybody know about the crossroad. everybody had to be passed by the crossroad. One time or another. One time or another in your life, you probably have been on the crossroad, you know, like. Fukiao is gonna call crossroad the place of the seven direction. Have you heard about that? The seven directions of life. Okay. We have seven directions. Okay. In here, you can go forward. But sometimes what you need to do, you need to look back to see what you have done. You can go to the right. Sometimes you go to the left. You can go higher. And sometimes you go down. But what's the more important direction we need to follow in life?
Go inside.
That's your self-direction. But what you do most of the time? Most of the time you go down, you know. Most of the time you go down, you know. But we need to follow the inside direction. And that's one of the things what Fukiao tried to teach, you know. It's like, look at you. You have all the answers inside you. You look at yourself, it's like, what I really want. Not, look, most of the time what's happening, you do what people want you to do. And sometimes you really, it's like, I wanted to do that, but no, God, it's like, and you go wrong. And say, dang, why did that? Whoa. Your instinct said already for you, do this, but it's your fault. Because the answer was there, you say, okay, but you say no. If you go wrong, don't say nothing. You say, next time, I need to look at my heart and inside me before I take any decision. You know, because that's what it's supposed to be. And when these things, even when you get wrong because you talk, but you feel like, okay, next time I need to think better how I take the decision. But it was you. Was not someone who told you that, you know. That's when I do one experience with the person. You know, you do this cosmogram, but we live on the cosmogram, and that's what I say. Who are you with no mask? Because everybody puts a mask. Everybody. For one reason or for other. But who are you? No. You're inside yourself. Look at you. Say, what? Me. Or better, what the hell are you doing until today? Did I do the right path, what I really want to do? For some time I was afraid to take some decisions like, I'm gonna go for the easy way. That's something what you need to do when at the crossroad. Why? Because this line here, okay? You see here, you remember where I told you, Tukula is today. Tukula is when you are in your high place, it's the more high point of your life. But can you see this line here? This line is the Talema line. And what the line do? They connect you directly with your ancestors. And that's me. When you are in the high position, that's when you need to try to connect yourself with your ancestral. You need to remember that. Because there was one who gave support to you. Of course, I'm not talking about religion. Pay attention, it's two different things. To connect with your ancestrality, I have nothing to do with religion. That's to do with you. How you connect. Some people maybe is gonna light a candle, or some people just gonna go to the woods, or some people just gonna sit down and meditation. I don't know. Each one have a different way of to connect you with your society. Because it's necessary. You know, at this time when you connect, maybe some people is gonna call it divine. You know. But each one of us needs to do this at some point. Otherwise, you're gonna be on the crossroads, try to, but this line, what you connect yourself with your ancestors. Other thing I like to say to everybody, when I talk about ancestral, most of the people think ancestral is someone who crossed the Kalunga Line already, no? No. No. Ancestral is someone who gave you something. And we, Africa descendant, we have one thing, even here in the United States, but in Brazil we say that's a lot. We have the extended family. Have you heard about that? Extended family.
Extended family, yeah.
Our family is not just your mother and your father and your uncle. No. My family is because we belong to different ancestrality. Like, você faz capoeira. Who's your mestre?
Mestre from.
Okay. He was a student from?
Mestre. Sound.
Huh?
Sound.
Yeah, but look, see? That's the important thing. We know where you came from. Because that's what you give your support. You know, because like me, if you ask me, I'm a student of Mestre Moraes, who was student from Mestre João Grande, who was student from Mestre Pasquinha, who was a student from Benedito, an African guy from Angola. I can follow my line.
I've asked before and not gotten answers.
But what I may say is, that's my ancestrality. But ancestrality is somebody who maybe is still alive. It's like this weekend, I was in New York. I'm telling you, I have a lot of things to do, on my trip. But I told for the people who organized my trip, Saturday, I don't go. Yes, Saturday is the day I'm supposed to do workshop. That's the big day workshop. I say Saturday, I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm gonna go to Mestre Grande, and I wanted to spend like 3-4 hours there with him, just me and him. It's different from Sunday I went there. I went to Mestre Grande school on Sunday, big hall, everybody, But that was not my moment with my ancestor. You understand what I'm saying? My moment with my ancestor was when I took my time just to go there, sit down, hug him, talk to him, laugh to him, just wait. That's nothing. You say, how did you learn it? No. we're just laughing and remember all the things. I just wanted to hug him. That's it. Why? Because I need to take care of my ancestors before he crossed the Kalunga Line. Because after, I cannot cry. Why you crying? Why you? If you are crying, it's because you don't did things when they was alive. Because when you do things when your ancestors still alive, you're gonna just laugh. You say, wow, you have so much time, you have so much fun, it's like, wow, I'm happy. I'm happy because it's me. And that I ask, sometimes people like, okay, we talk about ancestrality, but have you hug your grandmother, your grandfather, your mother? Did you call your mother? You say, hello, how you doing? Your uncle, or somebody who was important to you, your childhood. You do that frequently, or at least one time a month, I don't know. If you don't do that, please don't come to me and say, oh, ancestral. If I'm not taking care of the ancestor who's still alive, you're going to be the ancestor who's crossed the Kalunga Line. No, it's not fair. Ancestors eat, drink, need care. That's what ancestors do. Because they need to cross the line good and feel happy for you and you feel happy for them. Because you say, I did my best. Anytime, that's what they say. Anytime I have opportunity, first thing I did is go there to hug her. I say like, no, I go to New York. No, I say before, no, I go to United States, I'm gonna go to New York, okay? Why? They say no, because I'm gonna go away. Take one day, but don't have a class, nothing. I'm gonna be there with the Mestre. I want it to be just me and him. Sit down. That's what you're supposed to do. Take your grandmother to eat. But what? Let's go. Make some food for her, for him. Oh, I'm gonna make a food for you. Let's go sit together. Why are you doing that? For nothing. No reason. There's no reason for you to do that. You just do because it's a part of your society, and you need to be connected with it. Let me say, how do you connect with your society? You can light a candle, yeah. You can meditate, yeah. But it's better when you can hug your ancestors. Just talk. And I have said for my students to do this exercise, and I'm telling you, maybe you're going to discover things what you never imagined. You never imagined. There's one friend of mine, and the way we did this, and I talked to her, and I said, she was, I think everybody had passed it, kind of rebel, I say, ancestrality is about connection. I know rebel, but probably somebody in your family was rebel too, and you are just because in Angola, when I was there, there's one thing called the spirit. Is when someone wishes something, but they cannot do anymore, and they look at you who is young, say, I wish you could be like me. And they don't say nothing for you, but they start to put this on you, and you start to acting, and you don't even know why you're acting like that, but it's aspiration. And I talked to her about that, and she went to visit her grandmother. And she said, I sit with my grandmother and start to talk. I never had really connected to her, but she started to talk to me. She was bad woman. She was really, So she went to go to the protest and said, oh, but I know. She said, I know, and that's what I love you. And she smoked weed. And he was in shock because he said, I just don't believe my grandmother. I said, really? Yeah, she told me when she was young. I say, you see, that why she maybe saw you when you was young and she thought, that's gonna be like me, And that's what you are now. We rebel, we try to fight with everybody. But she did not know because she never took a time to sit and talk with you. Never. Olderly. I said, no. Go there, talk to your father. Sometimes that's exactly you. You're gonna see more similarity, and maybe you're gonna understand a lot of things what you doing today, because you're gonna see they have tried to do, but they could not do, and now you follow the same path. And that's exactly what they say. That's the connection, and we need to pray. The last thing I'm gonna do, okay, we'll talk a lot of time already, is what the Bantu believe between the visible world and invisible one. There we have, ancestral, spirit, and that's the ancient community, animal, vegetal. But there's something else that I want to show. On the physical world, you have a writing, material, form, and the spiritual world, you have a tradition, orality, ancestrality, secrecy, ritual, and continuity. Because the Bantu, they believe always on circle. For them, there is no end. Beginning, middle, beginning. In Português, says começo, meio, começo. Why? Because for them, family is not the same way what family is for the European. What's the family for European?
Man, wife, child, three children.
Father, mother, son. The three, no? For them is grandmother, mother, daughter. Começo, beginning, middle, beginning. That's how it is. Grandmother is the beginning of everything. Mother is the middle. But the daughter is the beginning again. Why? Because the scientists discover, that's very interesting. The grandmother already have the genes of the granddaughter. You know it? Big man, it's hard to understand. I know, brother. I stuck him a while, my mind just took a while for process. For the women, it's very easy to understand. But for us, a man, it's taking what? Grandmother? Already have a granddaughter? What that mean? But that's the truth. Okay, that's the truth. They already have the gene of them. It's like straight line. Straight line. And that's what they believe is grandmother, mother, granddaughter. That's his family. Because that continues. There's no end. It's simple. That's another lecture I have, but I wanted to know if they have it. That's interesting, but you suppose, I think it's good if you guys could get together one day, think about how the afterword, what he used on every day, but people don't even thinking that's afterward, because in Brazil you have many words, and people like, oh, that's a Portuguese, and no, that's not Portuguese, that's an afterword, and that's what you have this, ginga, fubá, bambu, marimbondo, quindim, samba, cutucá, fuxico. It's like capoeira, angu. All that's, if you're going to study Portuguese, maybe they're going to say for you, oh, that's a Portuguese word. No, it's not Portuguese. It's an African word, But that's a form, it's another. But what I wanted to but we can talk about. It's because the Bantu, they believe vital force. Have anybody heard it? Vital force.
Vital force?
Yeah. That's is the Bantu. They believe that think what give you like vital force, make your energy go higher. But at the same time, there's think what's make your energy go down. And everything, they believe that they have a vital force. It's if you think it's look like a little bit yin yang, it's like this kind of the force, what you need to have a balance. And what they say is like there's some food what you're gonna give you vital force, it's gonna give you energy, it's gonna make you feel good. But at the same time, it's gonna have some food what you're gonna eat, and it's gonna make your energy become low. There's anybody here from religion, African religion? Anybody? Because sorry, I don't want to put somebody on the spot. No, I will say that is because in Candomblé, if always, if you have some specific orisha, there's some fruits or some food what you cannot eat.
Like a taboo?
Yeah, taboo. That's exactly the point. Why? Because this is gonna put your energy low. You understand? That's a part of it. It's like, in Brazil, like if you are from Oxalá, you cannot get from Dende, because Dende is like taboo for, That's like how this kind of thing, it's like people from Oxalá on Friday, and the same thing with the colo. There's some colo what highs your energy, and some colo is gonna put your energy down. It's like people from Oxalá need to be always with white clothes. And if they put dark clothes, that means the energy is gonna go low, It makes sense? Yes, makes sense, because today people, maybe you study like chromotherapy, and people, say about chromotherapy, how the color influence on the energy of the people. Some colors raise the energy, some other ones just make the energy down. And they believe on that, always. And the same thing is with your own internal energy. And probably that you have experience already. There is some people, you give a hug and you feel, wow. But there's some people who you give a hug and after, man, you feel like, damn. No, I'm not joking. I'm not doing joke. I don't know if you have experience that, but I do. You hug the person, they have to feel like, wow. Wow. There's a vital energy. you know. And if you keep it doing, probably, yeah, I don't know about you, but I have some friends who do massage, and they say that, you know, some people when they do massage, they feel like, wow, dang, I like, you know, some other people, they look, 5, 6 people do massaging, go home okay, but you know, they do one massage on someone, and feel like I need to rest. I cannot do another massage now. I don't know about you, but I know some of my friends who do that. And they told me, you know, like, man, some people have sucked my energy. I did one massage. When I finish, I'm like, I need to sit down. It's like, but that's how it is. The person was with a low energy. You have a high energy. When you touch the person, what they do, well, natural, like vampire. Wow. It's sometimes not because the person wants, but because they need. It's not because they want. It's because they need, you know. And if you have it, you're gonna go there. And that's what the Bantu believe. And I think that's very nice because teach us to be more careful with the thing what we do. What do you eat? What kind of color you use? You know? What kind of the ambient, like environment? Because that's the same thing. The environment, what you go, and it feels so good. And there's another place what you go, like, wow. I don't know what's happening, but I came out from there and I felt really, really bad. You know? And the Bantus try to, when the young boys, you know, do the circumcision, and you know, they try to teach the boys and the girls too, how you can get the element to raise your energy. Let's see, me thinking about the girl, you know, what she can do to keep her energy on high level, you know, and the energy of the house. So that's another thing, you know, the Bantus believe if you're sick, they cannot treat just you. Because when you are sick, it's just a manifestation of the place what you want. And what they do, that's why I can tell you, because I experienced that when I was there. You know, I was talking to the healing, and the guy was saying to me, it's like, when I treat one person, I do all the ritual with them and everything, but soon they get better. I go to their house and they take the whole family and they make a ritual. I take the house and they make a ritual. Why? Because if I take this person now, who is better, and put on the same house, they're gonna see. And because they are just the weak person who manifestation the second. But I need to clean up everything before I bring it back. But for me, it makes sense. I can see that's from another side. It's like in Brazil, you know, not too much, but it's still in the rural area, you know, what sometimes the kids play with the water, dirty water, and they get this thing on the intestine, you know. But they go to the doctor give them a pill you know. But when they come back for the same place. And 2 years later, it's not the kid, it's the place where he's living. That's what you need to be treated. The kid, of course, needs to be kid, but if you don't do this, the problem is gonna stay. And that's my question for you for Felix. And you, what you are doing to treat yourself and your community? That's the question. You know, because when you complain about the community, we need to see what's happening that you and what you can be doing to heal the community. Because when you heal the community, you have healing Okay, I'm gonna stop here, and now I just open for questions. And the rest of them. Thank you. Oh, look, everything what I said, you can download the book of Foucault. It's free on the internet, called the Africa Philosophy, Foucault Buseki. If you put the Foucault, Foucault, Foucault Buseki, okay? Everything what I'm talk about the Kenga, the Bantus, everything is there, okay? English, okay? I have opportunity to be with him, and I have opportunity to bring him to Brazil for the first time. And it was a very, very nice experience for him, but especially for me, because I could see the connection of the Bakongo culture in Brazil. And it was very interesting when he got to the Candomblé house, and the people start to sing the song, and start to cry, and people like, and he would say, that's the song he used to listen when he was a young boy. And better than that, he completed the song because we knew only half of the song.
Wow.
Yeah.
The timing and such.
Yeah, because okay, the middle passage, broke a lot of things, we got part of, and the people there, everybody's like, it's cheer because, it's like you start to sing the whole song, and we didn't, but it was very, he was there, he talked about the connection of capoeira with the Bakongo culture, he started to say, and it was very shocking because in Brazil we have this idea, about capoeira, zonic Brazilian, Brazilian, he's like, was bringing some evidence like, okay, Brazil have influence, but the base is African culture. And the combat games, and that's what incentivate me to go to Angola to do the research about black combat game, Africa combat games, and that's what I did this. It's there, it's called. You can look at the internet. It's called body games. Capoeira. If you put there, okay, it's free. Like I say, I put that free for you guys. If you don't know much, I don't know more what I can do. But I presented this movie yesterday, Sunday. Yeah, yesterday I did a presentation of this documentary there, and we have a nice discussion, it was very nice. I did many documentary, okay, but some of them is in Portuguese, and some is in Spanish. But if you understand it in Spanish, I can recommend it for you to see how the African culture on the South America. I did a documentary in Colombia, because most of the time we look at Colombia, we just see indigenous person or white person. Man, Colombia has so many black people over there. You're gonna be impressed. On this movie, when I show people like, what? They have maroon society there. It's called the Palenques. Yeah. Where you run to the Palenques, a city, it's like 90% of the people is black. Everywhere you go, it's like, and that's the documentary we did exactly to show, how much the influence of the blacks, especially the Bantus, on the Palenque in Colombia. It's called Mandinga. Mandinga em Colombia. Mandinga, Colombia. But maybe you can generate English, but if you speak Spanish, you're gonna understand everything, you know. Because, huh?
Translate a lot of times. I don't know, it depends on the video.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times there's a button, if you guys didn't know, in the top right corner, you hit settings, and if it has it, it'll say closed captions, and you
Okay.
can swap the language.
Yes.
Depends
Yeah.
on the upload time though.
Yeah, it's a good for, you know, like I say, knowledge is power. You know, more you know, better for you. Okay, I'm open for question. Comment.
So explaining the chart, I noticed that you didn't really speak on morality, right?
Mhm.
And so you said that people are remembered, they live because they're remembered.
Mhm.
So what if you gave an example how someone would go to door,
Mhm.
if they stole something from someone, the community knows.
Yeah.
So if that person dies, does that mean that person still lives on because he's remembered as a thief?
Well, yes and no. Okay? Yes, because of course, if they made something wrong, the community always is going to remember. But if in the middle of that, he do something good, that's what is going to stay in the community. You understand me say? We always say have good ancestors and bad ancestors in Kondi. In Kondi is ancestor what did not contribute positively to the community. Because the problem is not what is bad, no. The problem is what is positive for the community, and it can be as example for the young people. But even people who did wrong, is still as example for the community, don't do. You understand what I say? It's like, because unfortunately, the way what we think is not our fault. It's because we go to school, you learn how the European think, and that's how you think now. But when you go to some of the old societies, they think different. They think about good and bad, and it's a totally different way of, you know, it's like, there's something between that. That's, you know, it's not good, it's not bad. And we like, how it cannot be, oh, it's good, no. It's something what you can learn. It's something, somebody did something wrong, while the whole community is taking advantage of that to show to the young people what you don't supposed to do. If that person, after, recognize what they did, and from now on, start to do something good for the community, it's a race. It's a race. People's gonna see what is good on you. Because that's what the community wants. They wanted to see what is good in you. You know?
So in other words, redemption.
Yeah. But you know, what I'm saying is like, we cannot apply for that society now the way it is. No. Why? Because we don't raise our children anymore. No, that's the truth. We need to be aware of it. You don't raise your children. Who raise your children? Internet. There is one who raise your children. You can say, oh, he did not learn that from me. Her did not learn. Yes, of course not. But they learn on the internet. Okay? Or they learn on the street, or they learn on the school. Because the school now is not to teach the kids how to live. It's not like the ancestral school. Because the ancestral school, people was learn how to serve the community. You understand me say? What I'm talking about is how it was. But even after today, some communities don't work like that anymore. But some still do. And they struggle themselves, but to keep doing the way they still was. Like I'm saying, in Angola, there's still some group who still have the ancestral way of living. I mean, not here to judge this is better or worse, but I can tell you it's different. You know, because wherever when you judge with your concept. And our concept is monotheist Christian. Wherever what you say for me about bad or good is the concept of monotheist and Christian. No other way you're gonna talk to me. Because that's how you love. For you think different, you need to go to some community and live it with them to understand the way of living. And not made no judgment. And to tell the truth, I can say all this beautiful thing with you here, but when I was there, was so hard. Now make judgment about the way of life, what they eat, how they live, was really, really hard for me because all the time I was like, oh, but that's not correct. Oh, but that's wrong. Oh, that's not supposed to be like this. But who I am to be judged other people's culture? We complain about colonize, but when you go to place, the first thing we do is try to colonize, make people to be like us. You know, we're gonna be talking that tomorrow in the class because I'm telling you right now, I don't came here to colonize nobody, okay? My class is not about to try to colonize you. I try to help you to understand better what you are already doing. I don't came here to tell you this is wrong, that's it. No. What you're doing is what you're doing. Can you do better? Well, let you try. That's it. Otherwise, you become a colonizer like everybody else. You know, it's my way or my way. And not way wrong. Question?
Yeah, my question was kind of about that, just because like I feel like sometimes, especially with my own family, try to give them something and I don't want it, you know, and so where does that fit in terms of becoming a good ancestor? Like when you meet resistance of trying to build your ancestry, how do you personally handle that? If somebody, you try to help someone or impart knowledge on them or wisdom or show them, you know, something that could potentially help them or make them better, but they're just like, nah, I don't want it.
Me, they should think I have to. First, are you doing your part? Okay. If you are doing your part, you should feel with your heart free, like, are you doing? They think what cannot happen is the opposite. You know, you are not doing your part. Your part is they ask if they need some help. And if they need some help, you be ready to help. Because most of the time, you go, no. And the way they need, you say, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything because see, no. Okay, now you need, okay, me. The other thing is by example. Maybe people don't wanna believe what you say. But when you start to do and things start to be good, they look at you like, oh, why are you doing this? You know, and that's what you need to do, because sometimes you already pay attention too much. You know, look, if you do something to get applause, right, don't do something what you believe, do something what you want to do. If people don't see, like, I should say this for you. You remember the hard thing, nobody's gonna see, brother. Nobody's gonna see your hard time, your hard work. You know, people's gonna come in here and say, whoa, man, nice, wow. But not like you did, wow, nice.
Nice.
Wow, yeah, nice, wow, man. But you know, they're supposed to, man, how hard it was to build that. Well, you don't say that. You don't say that. You understand it, no. Because you don't even want to know how hard it is. You just see it's beautiful. That's how it is. But if somebody come here and he did not ask you how hard it was, you don't need to feel bad for that. You're just like, okay. One day when they build his own, he's gonna know how hard it was. You understand? But some people do things just to get applause. That's not good. You know. Do your job. Go there. Need help. Blah blah blah. Da da da. If you need anything, I'm here. I'm here for you. Okay. And if they need you, be there for them. You know. That's how family is. I say that because I have a big family, stay brother, you know, and you know, family is family everywhere, you know. Someone you like, some you don't like, some, but if they need you, you even like, I wanna help me. There's no way, you know. I say that because in Capoeira family, it's the same thing, you know. I see because some mestre when need something, people if you don't like the mestre, but say, okay, I'm gonna help. You know, we do. Why? It's part of your ancestrality, and you want them to do something. You know, if you don't do, that should not help your ancestrality, and that's when you need to do. Don't feel bad. Just keep doing. Always ask. You know, feel like you care. Because that's the thing. You need to feel like, oh, they care about you. They're gonna say no, oh, okay. But if they need, I'm here. And you be with your heart free, like I did my best. Question?
Just curious, have you done any studies like with astrology? The reason I ask is because there's a chart that matches the exact same, and it even corresponds with the timings. So they say, oh, if you're born at 12 p.m. when the sun's shining its highest, you're gonna get more attention. Oh, or you were born at 6 a.m., okay, you might be overlooked, things of that nature.
No, I never got, you know, I'm gonna tell you the truth, I'm very limited in studying. You know, when I say I'm very limited in study, because you have two ways of studying. You can open and study everything, or you can narrow and be more deep. And it's my way, you know. I prefer to be more narrow. And if you ask me about the Bakongo, Cosmogram, Capoeira Angola, I can go deep with you. You know, we can. But when you ask me some other stuff, maybe I know a little bit, but it's not my eye. I'm not gonna be, you know, try to know everything because that's the most stupid thing. You know, you know, it's like yesterday, I went to Ifa house. You know, I never had been at the Ifa house. It was the first time in Ifa temple, and I saw some things about the indigenous people. You know, like the catch dream. You know, I was curious because like, what catch dream is doing at Ifa house? It's like, I don't see any connection, you know, like, but you know, the guy after explaining for me, you know, is the respect for the native who came here first, and they have this respect with them, you know, and they didn't to honor them too, you know, because the Africa coming after, they was already here. And he gave me all the explanation. That's what his house, his temple, have this special place for the indigenous people. And it's completely made sense. I say, well, thank you, man. I learned something. But, but that's it is. And it doesn't say, if you're gonna ask me, oh, there's any connection between you five and I'm like, but no, but I learn it. That's how I learn. But I don't expert on that.
Another question I want to ask about about the diagram.
Mhm.
The diagram and its connection to the physical game, Kalunga Line, is a lot of like what I've noticed when I play Angola is like there's this when I did martial arts before, there was this concept of psychosomatics, or like the movement bringing awareness or like wisdom to the body. So when it comes to this diagram and Capoeira Angola, how have you found these truths inside of the game, or like what are like I guess some realizations or truths that you found yourself by studying this diagram and playing the physical game of Capoeira Angola?
Okay, just to tell you something. Study is one thing. Feeling is the other different thing. Maybe I have studied many things, but I could not explain the feeling yet. You understand? So that's thing what makes sense for me, but that is other thing what I feel, and I still try like, wait, There's a guy in Brazil, he was a doctor, and he used to say, like, in capoeira, we get one stage of transi. I don't know how. Trance. Yeah. But it's not the same transi of the orisha. What in the orisha transi, you lose. You don't know nothing anymore. You go to the. But in the capoeira, it's that stage where you're there, but you're not there. It's something between what you know what you're doing, but you don't know. And he called that transi capoeirando, like capoeira trance. And that's something what I cannot explain because I have feel that, and probably some people who is old in capoeira have feel that. When you go to the hall and you do something, and after I say, wow, how you did that? You look at yourself like say, how I did that? you don't know how to explain how you did that. And sometimes the music, that's the thing, because the music can transport you for another level, what you cannot explain. Some ethnomusicologists can explain that, They say music touch or some kind of the vibration on your brain, what make you go to another level. I don't study about that, but people have said that, But I have felt that. I have been capoeira holder, and the rhythm was so high, and that's people telling me, I was like, and people was talking to me, I was like, hey, Mestre. I said, huh? I understand him say. And the one time happening with I have one student when I was in DC, he was a physics, the guys who study physics, guy who study physics don't believe in nothing. They just believe in numbers. He was this kind of guy, he worked, the time I was there, he was trying to work with NASA, this kind of thing. He was a very brilliant. And sometimes we talk about spiritual, he said, yeah, but I don't believe on that, that's just energy, One day, man, was the Mestre Valmir, probably you don't know, it was me, Mestre Valmir, Jurandir, we was on the bateria, I was like, hey, pa. And he was sit down, and he was like, and I get close to him like this, he don't even see me. And when I finished, you have to say, Hey, Orlando. I said, Orlando. I said, I'm okay. I said, what happened to you? You was on the road, I came close to you, you don't ever see me. You was like, you was in transit. He started to laugh and say, no, now you need to explain it physically. Okay, I want to let you know now. You're going to put that as a number. Show me what did you felt. He said, I said, yeah, man, you know, I know you don't believe it, but you was there, you know. You get out. I want you to explain me that. Because there's things what you cannot explain. You cannot explain. No, you don't tell me. You can say a lot of, but the truth is you cannot explain. You know. But like I say, I can tell you, oh, there's a connection where you put your hand on the floor, you know, you touch the world of the spirit, blah, 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 blah. I can say a lot of beautiful things, but that's not all the truth. The truth is when you get into the holder, you know, and sometimes on the beating bow, you know, start to play or somebody start to sing and you felt something inside, like, wow. You understand? That's the same thing. I don't know with you guys, but there's some song what affect you and some song. I say everybody have a song. Everybody have a song in capoeira. You know, we can do that experience there when we're having the class, but I know there's a song where you sing or somebody sing and give you some kind of energy, you know, you're like, whoa. And there's some other song where people sing like, that's the vital energy, you know. It's me, you know, people like the song, but I like them. Como vai caimã, caimã, caimã. You know, it's the kind of the song what's giving me some, you know. And everybody had one song was like in capoeira, and same thing with the top, you know. And I'm gonna show you in the class, but now when I was there in Rio Grande this Sunday, there's one the thing what the cow on the berimbau, no? And people need it too. But Mestre Grande was on the pandeiro, and he was doing chamado on the pandeiro, but most of the students is young, they don't know this thing. And I took his student, you know, Socorro, and she's an old student for Mestre Grande. She's a Japanese, but she's a contramaestre, you know. And so, let's go, me and you. And when Mestre Grande starts to do it, I went to the, and he starts to laugh, you know. But it's like a communication between me and him on the pandeiro, you know. But if you don't know, you're not gonna do that, and you're not gonna feel the energy. You understand? Between just feeling and to know, and it's like, he was so happy. I'm gonna show the video. He was so happy. Boom. Okay, guys. Any more? One more and close. Understand? No?
You got a question?
Ok. Chama, Bruno. Sim, pode falar. Eu entendo português.
Só quero agradecer de vir aqui compartilhar você compartilhou todos esses conhecimentos dentro da roda, fora da roda. Obrigado, muito obrigado.
De nada.
Só para terminar, gostaria de saber de você suas ideias sobre esses. Às vezes tem tipo uma separação.